Wise has come up empty, but her Gators are back in the semifinal for the 4th time in 6 years. This time as underdogs looking for the big upset. Meanwhile, Penn State's Russ Rose has his best team ever. Led by All-American superstar Terry Zamitis, the Lady Lions have the weapons to win their first championship. A berth in the finals is next. The Pacific Northwest is revved up for this one. We are expecting a crowd of 10,000 maniacs here at the Spokane Arena for the 1997 Division I NCAA Women's Volleyball Championship. 3 weeks ago, 56 teams started out in the tournament. Now we're down to 4. Penn State, Florida, Stanford, and Long Beach State. And tonight, in national semifinal number 1, the Gators will try to take a big bite, out of the Nittany Lions. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Chris Marlowe, along with Heather Cox. Penn State and Florida. Heather, 2 schools with great football teams and great volleyball teams.
Indeed, and Florida is coming off of a huge regional final win, upsetting number 4 Wisconsin. This is their 2nd consecutive national semifinal appearance, and this is a very motivated team. They haven't won a game in the program's 3 previous trips to the national semis.
The Nike starting lineups first for Florida. Jenny Mans is a good opposite. Ari Rodriguez and Jenny Keene are outside. The freshman Heather Wright is in the middle, along with a great one, All-America Nina Foster. And the cool one, Nikki Shade, is the setter. Penn State, physical, experienced, and motivated.
And Penn State has been the most consistent team in the nation all season long. They're the only team to have beaten the defending champion Stanford, and they did it twice. They also defeated the U.S. national team, last reached the semifinals in '94, but ended up losing to UCLA.
The Nike lineup for Penn State, an underrated opposite, is Lindsay Anderson, Carrie Schoenveld, and Christy Cochran are outside. Lauren Cacciamani is one of the middle blockers. The other one is the bomb, Terry Zamitis, and the great setter is Bonnie Bremner. There is Zamitis, a first-team All-America, a candidate for Player of the Year. She anchors the back line, and set, ready to serve, is Nina Foster, 6'2" senior from Heather Cox's hometown of Mission Viejo, California. Florida in blue, Penn State in white. Best 3 out of 5 game match. Each game to 15 points. You must win by 2. You can only score when you serve, and you cannot touch the net at any time. And into the net, as I just mentioned, you cannot do that. Side out, Penn State.
Ari Rodriguez, a sign of the jitter, is trying just a little bit too hard to block the overpass.
Serving for Penn State is Lauren Cacciamani. Shade back sets, and the ball is hit off the block by Heather Wright. Heather Wright is a freshman into the starting lineup from Martinsville, Indiana, hitting .396 this year. She's had a good year.
And so far the Gators are sticking right to the game plan, and that's run the slide to Penn State's outside hitters as often as possible. They're also trying to attack Christy Cochran on serve receive. They want Cochran to pass as many balls as she can.
One of the keys for Florida, the Cinderella team of these 4, is getting off to a good start, and they have 1-0. Nikki Shea, chance for another point. She throws it straight up in the air, and Verna Klubnikin, our first referee, calls a double. She's assisted by umpire Marty Paco.
Very interesting early matchup. Terry Zamitis is matched up with the freshman, the rookie Heather Wright, for the Gators. We'll see whether or not she can slow down Zamitis.
Shade sets left, and the ball boomed out of bounds by Jenny Mance. Mance is a sophomore from Orange Park, Florida. Big hitter on the left, but does make some errors sometimes. That's why her hitting percentage is only .271, but she's got a big right arm. On the right side, Penn State with a dig. Game 1, 1-1, Penn State and Florida. Set left, and the ball is dug up. Nicely done, again by Penn State. Carrie Schoenveld making the dig. Shade into the middle, and the put away. Coming through, number 10, Ari Rodriguez, the senior from Rio Piedras, Puerto Rico.
And a great deception play by the very athletic Nikki Shade. The 2 in the middle, the decoy sending right behind for the slide.
1-1, game 1. Penn State shanking a bit. Zamitis cranks it long and gets it.
And that's just a veteran savvy. Terry Zamitis knowing exactly the measurements of the court, knowing that that deep corner is wide open. Zemaitis playing the best volleyball of her career in the last 3 weeks.
She's a 6'2" jumping middle blocker. Shade sets left. And the spike is nicely done by Jenny Keene. 5'11" junior from Lodi, California, records her first kill. And Florida will get the ball back. If you're new to volleyball, a side out just means possession. If you get a side out, you get possession, and the other team does not get a point. Florida serving 1-1. Bremner sets Zemaitis, and she dinks again, or tips it into the corner. So her second kill. Zemaitis this year hit .359 with 394 kills.
An amazing career, 3-time All-American. And not too shabby a server as well. She leads the team in aces, racking up her 35th ace on that one. She does it because she's lined up so deep, way at the end of the sport court.
Penn State has its first lead at 2-1. Shade back sets, and the ball hits straight down by number 16, Jenny Mans. Interestingly, Jenny Mans' dad was a Penn State graduate, so some pressure to go there for her, but she chose Florida and Mary Wise. Game one. 2-1, Penn State leads. Bremner sets left, and tipping it off the block, out of bounds, Carrie Schoenfeld. Now, Bonnie Bremner, the lefty, will serve it up cross court, and it's going to be a 3-1 lead as Bonnie Bremner's serve sets up the kill by Schoenfeld.
And I talked to Russ Rose right before the match, and he said they're going to try to serve Mans and Rodriguez every single ball. That's the third serve to Mans.
3-1 out of the back line. Ball is dug again by Penn State. Here comes Zemaitis, and Zemaitis is dug. It goes to Shade, number 2. She whips it into the middle, and a little tip shot. Nina Foster, the senior, the Southeastern Conference Player of the Year with the kill. Russ Rose this week was named the National Coach of the Year. His assistants are Aaron Tomlin and Michael Shaw. Back set by Bremner, round the horn, and the ball waffled out of bounds to make it 3-2, Nittany Lions. Meanwhile, Mary Wise, in her 7th season at Florida, she has won 90% of her matches. She's assisted by Nick Chironis and Stacy Wolf. Here comes Lauren Cacciamani, and Cacciamani bombs it down the line. Cacciamani, a very talented sophomore from Paramus, New Jersey.
And just one of 3 amazing sophomores, Schoenfeld and Bremner, also sophomores for Russ Rose.
Serve into the bottom of the net, give the ball back to Florida. One thing that Mary Wise told me, that she was going to try to get Rodriguez and Foster on Zemaitis at least 2 times. As you see, number 13, Heather Wright, checking back in. She plays mostly in the front line as that ball is served out of bounds.
And the reason that they want Rodriguez on Zemaitis is Rodriguez is considered the better outside blocker. Zemaitis will try and run behind Bremner as often as possible to take advantage of that outside blocking position for the Gators.
Off to the left side, ball is dug up nicely by Penn State. Set left, here comes Cochran, and she goes over the top and down.
What a great season Christy Cochran has had, hitting .328 on the season. Russ Rose very disappointed that Cochran wasn't a member of the first or second team on the All-American team that was announced yesterday.
Ball served into the net. You saw the defensive specialist come in, number 17. That is Kalma Miller, 5'7" sophomore from Pittsburgh, who's a digger. 4-2, game one. Penn State leads it. Cochran off the hands. Florida chance for a point. Shade, back set, a little bit low, and it's popped up. Bremner sets left. Here comes Cochran again. She rolled, and it's dug by Florida. The Gators on their tummy. Shade into the net was, no, it looked like Penn State went into the net, apparently not. And so the Nittany Lions will get the ball back.
Side out goes to Penn State.
Here is Lindsay Anderson. She's a senior from Crystal Lake, Illinois. A redshirt last year because of an injury. Playing well this year. Ball is dug up. Bremner blocked it. Mans cross court, no. If Florida can't get Jenny Mans untracked, they're going to have a lot of trouble.
And they really like the matchup with Mans on Bremner. Mary Wise thinks that Bremner can be taken advantage of. However, Russ Rose said before this match, Bremner is fired up to have the best blocking night of her life.
Zemaitis plays it up, chance for another point. It's 5-2. And was there a touch? Yes. So make it 6-2 now.
Lindsay Anderson gets
as the #1 seeded team in the tournament, Penn State. And Mary Wise is going to make a substitution. She's going to take number 23, Nina Foster, out. Slow momentum. And coming in is number 9, Sandra Rebosis, a sophomore from Brazil.
Florida needs to look to have a little bit more variety on offense. Don't be so predictable with where they attack the ball.
Out of the back line, and Penn State had that one well scouted. Zamitis, number 5, was there along with Bonnie Bremner, and a timeout taken by Florida. So here we are at the NCAA Championship semifinals. Match number 1, game number 1, and Penn State looking good early. Division I Women's Volleyball Championship is brought to you by Polaroid. See what develops. And by Reebok, helping athletes perform at the top of their game. We're back at the Spokane Arena in the great state of Washington. The NCAA semifinal number 1, Florida and Penn State. Hi, everybody. Along with Heather Cox, I'm Chris Marlowe. Well, Penn State jamming out to a big lead of 7-2. Let's talk about both these teams in terms of keys to the match.
Well, for Florida, the key has to be patient. Penn State makes very few errors. As you can see, what Florida has to do is capitalize on the rare instances that Penn State gives them to score. For Penn State, their strength all season has been hitting and blocking. Early in game 1, that's been the key, and they need to keep distributing that attack. Bonnie Bremner doing a great job.
Florida has to be patient, or they will be the patient, and so far they are, trailing 7-2. Penn State on a 4-0 run. Florida's in blue, and the back set is hit out of bounds. Too many mistakes right now by Florida as they continue to hit the ball out of the bounds.
Yeah, 5 errors and 5 kills, so hitting a 0 hitting percentage right now. That's not going to help Florida.
8-2 Nittany Lions have the lead. Little cut shot, nicely done. Jenny Mans with a cut shot deluxe.
Jenny Mans has 14 double-doubles on the season, including her last 5 matches. She has been playing great volleyball right when it counts.
Florida's record 34-3 overall this year. Their 7th straight NCAA appearance. Back set, here comes Zamitis, and Zamitis crushes it. Zamitis is 2nd all-time on the career kill list at 1803. 4,000 attacks in her career. And she has had a marvelous career, hoping to cap it off with a national championship. And putting the ball down, Jenny Mans. Let's check Mans. She's into the scoring column of her 2nd kill. No, check it. That's out of bounds, so Penn State has it. So Mans making a lot of hitting errors. They're going to her a lot, and she needs to respond. Cochran over the top. It's 9-2 Penn State. Nittany Lions shellacking Florida at the moment. Out of the back line, off speed, and the put away, Arimar Rodriguez.
And that's a very smart play by Rodriguez. Stop right there, making the hitting errors. Florida has been a team all season that's either a kill or an error team, not known for keeping the ball in play. And when talking to Mary Weiss, she said that's going to be the key, that we don't make the amount of errors that we made earlier.
Back in the front line is number 23, Nina Foster, and Claire Roach comes in as the defensive serving specialist, number 12 in the back line. Zamitis pounds another one. So far unstoppable with 4 kills and a stuff block.
And credit Bremner for realizing that Foster came into the game. Penn State doesn't want to go directly at Nina Foster. They want to make her move, and that's what happens when Zamitis goes behind the setter.
Penn State leading 9-2 in game 1. If you just joined us, early action, it was 3-2 Penn State, but then a rash of hitting errors have continued to plague Florida. And now Penn State with a 7-0 run. It is 10-2 game 1.
The Gators looking like they might be a little intimidated by the size of Penn State's block. Penn State 2nd in the nation in blocks per game, but what Florida has to do is be crafty, start tooling and hitting high hands.
Bremner goes up and jams it. One of the advantages of Bonnie Bremner, the sophomore from Lisle, Illinois, is that she's left-handed and she can attack.
Yeah, and it's very deceptive if you're a lefty. She averages almost 2 kills a game, which is pretty unheard of, other than Misty May, who we'll see later. No other setter hits that much.
Over to the left side, and a good spike by Jenny Keene. Jenny Keene had 27 kills against Michigan State in last year's regional final, so she's a key outside spiker for Florida. And she will serve right into the bottom of the net. Middle of game 1, it's 10-2. Penn State leading Florida. I'm Chris Marlowe. With me is Heather Cox. Penn State doing everything right now, and Florida struggling with hitting errors. Set left. And the ball popped over by Penn State, and the put away. Carrie Schoenfeld showing them where to put it.
Incredible defense, instinctive hustle by Schoenfeld, just keeping the ball in play and getting up in time to put it back over and catching the Gators just completely unaware.
An 8-0 run by Penn State, a timeout by Florida. We're coming back. Nittany Lions 11-2 at the moment. Penn Arena, the national semifinals. Penn State leading Florida 11-2. One of the reasons why Bonnie Bremner, highly recruited out of high school by UCLA and Texas. Penn State didn't have a scholarship, so she chose to walk on for Russ Rose. Got a recommendation from sports performance coach Rick Butler, said Penn State would be a good place to go. She walked on and did not get any financial help her first year and has since taken over as the starting setter.
Thanks to Bremner, Penn State with an incredible hitting percentage all season, and you see on that stat they've made just one hitting error tonight as opposed to 7 for the Gators.
Ball on the line. One of the keys so far in hitting percentages, Penn State at .550 and Florida at 0.69. As you see Heather Wright check back into the front line.
Russ Rose said that the team's hitting percentage went up 50 points thanks to Bonnie Bremner's deceptiveness.
11-2 is our score. If you just joined us, it's been a rash of hitting errors by the University of Florida. They've had 7 hitting errors. That means hitting the ball into the net, out of bounds, or getting stuffed. They've had all varieties. Here's Nikki Shea, tries to jam it on Zemaida. She was there. Set left. Here comes Cochran, and she is roofed by the freshman Heather Wright.
And that's a huge confidence boost for Wright, the freshman playing in the biggest match of her young career, and her game is based on blocking, so if she can get the blocking game going, offense should follow.
Shank pass. Penn State is not passing all that well, but they're not making errors on hitting attempts. Off speed. Set left. Cochran shoots it long. Shade back set. This could be a put away, and it is. Jenny Mans.
Oh, bounced off the block and out of reach by Jenny Mans.
Mans had 23 kills in an earlier match against Pacific, so she is a good player.
And very good transition thanks to Keene's defense.
Here's Cochran, and Penn State unable to get the ball going in the middle. It's 11-3, and now 11-4.
Well, we know that Florida can come from behind. They were down 0-2 in Wisconsin against the Badgers, came back to win in 5. Known as being a slow starting team, like to make adjustments once they read their opponent.
Russ Rose takes out Lauren Cacciamani, and there is Kelma Miller back in, trying to slow down the momentum. Penn State having some problems shanking. And Cochran hits it into the bottom of the net, and here comes Florida suddenly. The Gators now trailing 11-5. And Nikki Shade continues to serve. She's 3rd all-time in assists in Florida history behind Heidi Anderson and Missy Aggard. Wow, shanking going on. The shank tank is open. Shade sets middle. Mans puts it away. And the Gators are gobbling. They have their 6th point.
Nikki Shade with some incredible serving, so low and tight to the net, really causing trouble for Penn State's serve receive. Christy Cochran has to buckle down and make a pass right now.
And Russ Rose calls timeout. So Jenny Mans getting on a roll. She now has 5 quick kills, and Russ Rose will talk to his squad. He's a big man in terms of having fun and relaxing, having a good time. But right now, Penn State's struggling a bit.
And it's interesting because he was really worried that the beginning of game 1 would cause trouble. He thought the team was a little bit nervous. Penn State came out hot, but now they're getting into a lull, maybe a little bit too much confidence. And also the Gators with some very strong, good service areas.
Well, as you may or may not know, Florida plays Penn State in football in the Citrus Bowl. And we asked Mary Wise this week if head football coach Steve Spurrier gave her any advice. This is what she told us.
Steve and I are pretty good friends, and there was a picture in the paper printed of me in kind of an emotional look. And he cut it out, and he wrote on it, relax, coach, you got him right where you want him. And he sent it to my office, and I got it before the NCAA tournament. And I thought, it was pretty tough that we had lost 2 of our last 3 matches, but he was exactly right. We were right where we wanted to be. you had told me prior to the season, with the schedule we played, that we could be the #5 seed in the country, I would take it in a heartbeat. And he was right.
That's very interesting. Steve Spurrier telling Mary Wise to relax. I did a Florida football game, and Steve Spurrier, he's not exactly the most relaxed. He's a fantastic coach, but I wouldn't say he is Mr. Mellow. That's for sure.
That is for sure.
Chris Marlowe, Heather Cox, 11-6 is our score, but Florida coming on now. Florida was down 11-2, and suddenly it's 11-7. And you and I have done a number of these things over the years, and a big gaffe in game 1 where you let the other team come back and really take away your confidence.
Yeah, I think right now Russ Rhodes needs a little advice from Joe Paterno to get these Nittany Lions back into it.
Florida stuffs the All-America Zemaitis, and it's 11-8, 6 unanswered points. They're double teaming Zemaitis. Nicely done.
And Bonnie Bremner going to the big gun maybe a little bit too often. She needs to work on that deceptiveness, but she has to get a pass to be able to do that.
6 in a row. Penn State having trouble getting the ball up to the net. There they go. Bremner sets the X. Right there is Florida. Florida to get to 9. Not yet. Bremner digs it. And Penn State a little shaky right now. Nikki Shade into the middle. Mans booms another one. Jenny Mans powering.
The biggest difference right here, when it was 11-4, Florida stopped making the hitting errors. They have played flawless volleyball from then on.
11-9, and Jenny Mans is hot. A 2-point lead. Cochran one-on-one. A little tentative now. Shade sets. Left side. Boom! Shakalaka. As Ari Rodriguez thunders one through. What a comeback now. It is 11-10 Penn State. Nittany Lions really shaky right now. Now, if you're talking about a mellow coach, Russ Rose would be it. Very calm. Although this has got to give him some butterflies under that sweater.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't look happy. He will be calm and focused during the timeout. He's a great tactician of the game, charts the opponent, so he will obviously make some changes in this timeout. Right now looking like he'll adjust the block against Florida, whose hitters are hot.
Penn State leading by 1. Well, one reason Russ Rose doesn't get too exasperated ever, his setter, Bonnie Bremner. This is what he told us about Bremner.
Yeah, great control. He's a very feisty competitor, likes to throw the ball around and challenge the opposing team's defenses. And, you know, every now and then you want to kind of pull her back in because she goes out a little far sometimes with that. But, I mean, she plays hard, and, you know, I wouldn't trade her for anybody.
Now, interestingly, some of the time when Bremner goes off, when Russ Rose, the assistant coach, Erin Tomlin, there she is, the blonde-haired woman to the left, a former setter at San Diego State. She will take Bremner aside and just try to calm her down a bit while Rose talks to the rest of the team, as she's doing right now.
Yeah, Bremner, a very intense player, a self-professed gym rat. She will do everything she can in her power. She quarterbacks this team and sometimes gets just a little too amped.
Nikki Shade, the setter for Florida, the woman holding the ball right now, has served 8 in a row. It's 11-10. After just moments ago, it seems it was 11-2. Penn State and White trying to get back on track, and Terry Zemaitis thunders one through. Zemaitis, a senior from Downers Grove, Illinois. She has 5 kills. So Penn State will serve it up, and here is Lindsay Anderson. And it's going to be another substitute for Mary Wise. Penn State is out of timeouts. Foster goes out, and coming in is number 9, Sandra Rebouças, the little defender from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Set left. Little dink. Brought up. It's got to go over. Cochran does. Shade sets left. Unraveling is Jenny Mans.
Mans has got a very powerful arm swing. She's finding the seam in the block, which she didn't do in the first part of this game.
Mans now with 8 game 1 kills. On the year, she hit 271, but she did have 439 kills, so Shade likes to go to her a lot. Pretty good pass. Bremner back set. Zemaitis. What a set by Bonnie Bremner.
Great redirection. Bremner is going forward. Everybody thinks that the ball's going to the outside, and she redirects it just one-on-one. Anytime Zemaitis is one-on-one, you're going to get a kill.
Substitution coming in is Leilani Schlattfeld, the freshman from Brasilia, a defender. Good server most of the time. Shade goes up, saves it, and punching it through the block, Jenny Keene.
Keene, known as the quickest attacker on the team, a leaper, now with 4 kills. The outside hitters for Mary Weiss's squad are really stepping up.
And good news for Gator fans, because Nina Foster is back in the front line. Foster, number 23 in blue, the SEC Player of the Year and a first-team All-America. Right? She hasn't done much so far, just 1 kill and no blocks.
And what Penn State wants to do against Foster is take away her cutback, not let her hit to the right.
Set left, off the hands, going, gone. There's a good shot by Carrie Schoenfeld. She has been described as an erratic hitter, and Russ Rose, the Penn State coach, says when she is on, we win.
And right now, if that's true, she is on. She's got 4 kills. She's hitting .600, which is amazing.
That's a big point there. Zamaitis gets Penn State off the dreaded 11. They were stuck there for a while. Zamaitis' second ace. She's serving again. It's 12-10. Shade, back set, Mans is hot, and she wraps another one. Like a young Heather Cox, just pounding away at will.
Oh, I would love to be out there playing right now.
12-10, Penn State by a couple. Jenny Mans with a little spin serve, and that goes out of bounds. So the Penn State Nittany Lions will have the ball back. And Bonnie Bremner, the lefty, serving right down the middle. Good pass. Shade, quick set. And a little tutor out of the middle.
Yeah, Foster showing her versatility. She likes that cutback shot. Zamaitis took it away, and she was able to change up her shot.
Hit .516 against Wisconsin up in Madison to help Florida qualify. Through the block goes Lindsay Anderson. Anderson hitting .255 all the year, but she smacks with authority, and the score remains 12-10 in a very intriguing Game 1. National semifinal, Florida, Penn State. Southeastern Conference in the Big Ten. Coming around the horn, Foster hit it out. No touch. And Penn State now gets to 13 and has a 3-point lead. The 8th hitting error for Florida. Schoenfeld continues to serve. Shade, middle, Foster, dug up, Zamaitis. And stuck back by Nina Foster.
Nina Foster just all over Bremner. Bremner just giving up the free ball, not even thinking that a blocker would be up. What an impact player Foster has been for this team.
One-time star at Alabama who transferred over to Florida. She'll serve it deep. Pretty good pass there. Bremner back set. Tip brought up by Foster. And shooting it over. Popping it up. Little pinball defense. There comes Florida. Set left. And it was blocked and recovered. Penn State has it. Free ball coming. Set left. Here comes Cochran. She's been tentative. And she's dug up. Important rally at 13-10 Penn State. Tip. Bremner is there. Joust coming. A jam is there. Somebody touched the net, but no one called it. Left side. Wall ball. Was it touched? Yes. Rodriguez aimed for section 107, and she got it there off the hands. 13-11 now. Score a point for Florida. Continuing to serve is Foster. That was a long rally. Cacciamani is blocked. She hasn't got into the match yet. Flip it over to Cochran. She's blocked. Good up by Anderson. Anderson pivots, tries to slam it down. Ball is dug. Here comes Florida. Mans out of the back line. Tip. On the attack. And the ball is shot over by Cochran. Florida's there. Florida playing defense. Penn State trying to play offense. And Cacciamani jukes it off the block and out of bounds for possession.
And that is a great offensive transition by Bremner, going to the middle in transition, which she hasn't done this entire match. So many high fours to the outside. Too predictable. I like her bearing it up in transition.
A long Game 1. And that ball is lifted, so Lauren Cacciamani stays in to serve. The shank pass goes over, and Zamaitis kills it. So now it is 14-11.
And don't forget, both teams out of timeouts. They have to stop the momentum.
It is game point right here. Florida struggling. Long shot out of bounds. And Penn State hangs on to win Game 1. So the Penn State Nittany Lions get a scare after leading 11-2. They give up 8 in a row, but then pull away to win it 15-11. We're going to continue with our coverage more of the NCAA's national semifinals. National semifinal number 1, the 4-seeded team Florida playing number 1 seed Penn State. Now, due to time constraints, let's move ahead a little further in our action. 8-6 now as Florida gets a point. Game 2, best 3 out of 5. Off speed, should be a free ball, should be a point for Florida. Around the horn, right is right on. She pounds it through.
And the serving game right now for Florida making the difference. Penn State in another serve-receive rut.
Bremner, another slap shot, and Foster was there. Mans. Bremner out of the back line to Anderson. Shade jamming at the net. Bremner. And Bremner touched the net. Is Bremner trying to slam dink too much now?
I think that time she just couldn't get her hands on it to set, and that was the only option. Now she's trying her shoot, trying to slow down the momentum a little bit. Rather than use a timeout, use the shoot timeout.
8-8 game 2. Florida with 3 unanswered points. Coming back from 8-5. Here's Lauren Cacciamani going over the top.
And that's the key. Mary Weiss talked about stopping the slide. Arimar Rodriguez on that has to get out and take away the angle with her left hand.
Pretty good serve there. Out of the back line. Here comes Mans. Cochran with the dig. Shade slaps it over. Bremner right there. Setter's having a battle and trying to flop it over. And a free ball, Penn State. 8-8 game 2. Bremner. Here comes Anderson. And she puts it away. A little X-play, a little crossing pattern designed to fool the block.
I think that's a great move. As often as you can take your middle blockers, bring it behind the setter, and bring your right side, who is Anderson, in front of the setter, it makes the Gator block have to talk that much more.
Bonnie Bremner with the serve. Little misdirection. Rodriguez is off balance. Penn State can get a point here. They set quick. Cacciamani is blocked. Bremner can't get it. Good block by Florida. Right with her third block, so the freshman from Indiana playing very, very well right now. 9-8 Penn State, and into the corner. Good shot.
Next play gets the kill for Carrie
Schoenveld.
Schoenveld serving.
And she will serve at the net. Is Anderson, and she'll stay in the middle this time as Cacciamani comes on the left side, and through the hatch goes Pari Rodriguez, a first-team All-Southeast Conference pick. 9 kills for Pari.
Rodriguez is truly a very complete player, does it all for the Gators.
Serving right down the middle, good pass, back set, and straight down goes Anderson.
Well, Anderson has been hot. She has really been the difference. 6 kills now, just 1 error for Anderson, who's battled injuries all of her career, redshirted last year, and is finally healthy and playing with a lot of confidence.
Keene off the top. Penn State leads by a point. They can get another one right here, and they do.
And it's Anderson.
Lindsay Anderson again. She now has 8 kills. Penn State won game 1, 15-11. And the Nittany Lions lead here in game 2, 10-8. We're going to continue more national semifinal number 1 right after this.
I'm Ironhead Hayward. I'm used to challenges, and I challenge you to try Zest Deodorant Body Wash. Now, I hear you snickering.
But Ironhead, aren't body washes for ladies?
Ow! Listen, chump, Zest doesn't have heavy moisturizers.
But Ironhead, what's with this thingy?
That lather builder works with Zest Body Wash to give you twice the fresh-smelling lather of this bar, and it rinses cleaner, so you're cleaner, more refreshed, period.
Zest Body Wash. Get cleaner, more refreshed.
Get zestfully clean.
Excuse me, do you have any change?
Let me check.
Arena. Penn State in command right now, winning game 1 and leading here in game 2. Well, one Florida player that has had a rough year, Heather, that woman, Jenny Jones.
How frustrating this been. Jenny Jones, who is known as the strongest on the team, all of a sudden had tingling in her fingers and her toes. The next morning was in the hospital. 3 weeks hospitalized because she had Guillain-Barré syndrome. It's a virus that attacks your nervous system. She actually had paralysis for a while, and she has been the inspiration for this team. They've dedicated the season to her. JJ on all the shoes. Jenny Jones was the starting middle. That is why freshman Heather Wright is now in.
So Florida gets the pound, and one of the women who is doing very well is Heather Wright, who has benefited from the absence of Jones. Heather Wright, 5 kills, 3 blocks, making the most of her opportunity. Certainly she didn't want to play because of a fallen teammate, but she's in, and she's getting her baptism and doing well.
In just 6 weeks, she has learned to play with a lot of composure for a freshman, especially in such an important match.
Florida on the block. Mans was there along with Foster. And Florida picks up a point, 10-9 now.
And to finish up on that Jenny Jones story, she is doing great. Full recovery. She's very weak still. It was tough for her to make the trip, but she will have a full recovery.
Bremner to Zamitis, and Zamitis tomahawks that backslide. 9 kills for Zamitis.
Russ Rose wanted to run the slide as often as possible. That is a weakness that they see, the outside blocking of Florida. Terry Zamitis playing like the All-American that she is.
Foster pounds one down. Foster 422 on the year. Foster now with 6 kills and a couple of blocks.
SEC Player of the Year.
Jenny Mans will serve in blue. She's going to spin her coming up. And perfect pass. Bremner, Zamitis, stop!
Wow, that's the matchup that Russ Rose wanted. He wanted Zamitis going up against Keene. Keene is proving that she is a much better blocker than Penn State thinks. She goes up straight and turns her left hand, and that's the key against the slide.
Set left. Florida blocking well now. It's 10-10 game 2. A must-win game for Florida. And Shade can't scoop it out of the net. When Zamitis does run that slide, it really leaves it open for Bremner because 2 Florida blockers are kind of shuffling out. And if she can get any wood on that hit, she can really create some havoc.
Especially because Zamitis goes behind, then the outside blocker is watching her, and the middle blockers sometimes tend to forget that the setter is suddenly their responsibility.
Leilani Schlotfeld is in to serve. Here comes Keene, and she dinks it out of bounds.
You know, Leilani Schlotfeld is actually the backup setter to the squad. If there is a weakness on Penn State, they have no backup setters. If Bonnie Bremner goes down, she is the setter, but she's been a DS all of her life.
She got a point in the first game when she came in to serve, and that's about all you can ask out of your defensive specialist as Florida gets the side out. Now Florida going to substitute, and coming in for the first time is Geraldine Hattendorf, a freshman from St. Charles, Illinois. So let's see what Hattendorf can do.
And I think Hattendorf would be a starter on about 80% of the Division I schools out there. Watching her in practice yesterday, she is an amazing jumper, quick to the ball.
There's a lollipop down the line. Zamitis has got it, and Zamitis dinks it out of bounds. Not a bad serving strategy to serve the All-America Zamitis and interrupt her travel plan, her flight itinerary to the ball. 11-all as Florida has tied it up. Mary Wise squad fighting back after losing game 1. More on the Deuce coming up after this. Stay with us. Getting out to a big lead, 11-2. Then Florida coming back to 11-10, and Penn State pulling away. Game 2, we're tied 11-all. Women's college hoops coming your way. 4:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll have the Honda Elite 4. Game 1 is a great one. Number 3 UConn at 9-0 going up against number 13 Stanford. Then it's the same arena but a different network. We switch to the Deuce. 7 p.m. Iowa taking on Vanderbilt. That will be 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Chris Marlowe and Heather Cox. You get the feeling that this is a must-win game for Florida since no team in NCAA history has ever come back from a 2-0 deficit in the national semifinals. Penn State in white will serve it up. Terry Zamitis. Here comes Jenny Mann's great dig in the backcourt by Anderson. Little spinner. Bremner has got a free ball, and she knuckles it. Cacciamani is blocked. Bremner sets left. Ball is blocked. It goes over to Foster, who puts it away. Nina Foster got a plumb at the net. And you know what she did with it? Squished it. Score remains 11-all.
Foster making plunges.
Foster serving.
Foster certainly the key. 9 kills right now. Hitting .211 has been better in the second half of this game.
Pretty good pass there. Good dig off Bremner. Slap shot. Left side. Rodriguez off her ponytail. And a saving side out. Good block by Lauren Cacciamani. Her first.
Which is a surprise. Lauren Cacciamani is 3rd in the nation in blocks per game with about 1.8 per game. Surprising that that's her first.
Now, Foster will go out. Number 9, Sandra Heboses coming back in. Heboses, a digger. And Bremner serves it out of bounds. That's one of the 7 times you never want to serve the ball out of bounds after the opposing team substitutes a player. 11-all, game 2. Florida trying to win its first game in the national semifinals. And Florida's going to go ahead now, 12-11.
Very interesting. Penn State has 14 hitting errors right now, hitting .263 as a team. When they beat BYU in the finals of the region, they had just 9 hitting errors in the entire match. 5 of those were on BYU blocks, so that's just 4 unforced errors. So Penn State uncharacteristic so far in these semis.
That was a mistake by Ari Rodriguez. She was standing left front. She didn't jump and she didn't back up. So she was in no woman's land and couldn't get that ball. Here comes Mans. And Mans launches. Point Penn State. So just when you think Florida might pull away a bit, a hitting error, giving up a point. 12-12. We're playing to 15, win by 2. Conventional scoring. Mans. Penn State has it. Chance for a point here. Set left. The block. Lindsay Anderson again. Anderson now with 9 kills. She is a role player, the unsung hero on this star-studded group of Russ Rose.
Well, she has been seeing a lot of sets and really putting the ball away with high consistency. Anderson right now hitting .353 on the match.
We have more volleyball coming your way. Semifinal number 2, Stanford and Long Beach. That will be tomorrow at 12:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 on the Pacific Coast. Stanford and Long Beach. Everybody waiting for that one. Penn State, the national rankings in hitting percentage, 2nd in the nation. Penn State at .324, and the blocking the same. Those are glossy numbers.
Well, historically, those 2 numbers are the most important to be a national champion. But you look at the blocking numbers for tonight. Florida, twice as many blocks as the Nittany Lions. That has got to be making Mary Weiss very happy.
Mary Weiss started her career at Iowa State, spent 4 years there, won 81 matches. She's a 2-time National Coach of the Year in '92 and '96, and trying to become the first woman ever to coach a team in the national final. She's been to the semis 3 times, has not made it to the final, but if she can get by, got to win a game first.
Yeah, huge implications in this match for Mary Weiss. First of all, to win a game for the first time in her history coaching Florida, and then to become the first woman to make it to the finals. The good news for the Gators, this is the closest they've ever been in their 3 previous tries.
Bad news for the Gators. They're up against game point right now after that toss by Nikki Shea. Got to get a side out here, out of the right side, and they do. Good shot by Ari Rodriguez. Rodriguez had 25 kills in an earlier match this year against UCLA. Her career high is 30, so she can pound it. Trailing by 2, 14-11, and she serves long.
That's another one of those rules. Never miss a serve when your opponent has game point.
The 6th service error, and now Russ Rose's squad, 2nd opportunity at game point. Set left, and Keene nails it through. So Florida trying to hang on here, down by 2. If they can get back to the Nikki Shade rotation, they have Foster in the front line shadowing Zemaitis. See if Bremner will set Zemaitis. Got a chance. Nope. Set left. Cochran right through the block. Good shot by Cochran.
Yeah, Foster hanging a little long, committing on Zemaitis, so she's late on the outside. Good recognition by Bremner.
Third game point for Penn State. Shade, back line, Rodriguez. Ball dug. Chance to put it away here. On the run, Schoenveld couldn't get any wood on it. Into the middle, Foster pounds it, dug up. Bremner, slap shot, not yet. Popped up by Wright. Here comes Mans. Mans can't terminate. Bremner sets left, hoping for termination. Cochran, no. Rodriguez digs it up. Shade sets left. Keene leaping, and off the block she goes. Keene taking advantage of Bonnie Bremner, who is just 5'9" at the net. A great setter, but not a tall blocker. 12 serving 14. That's how you used to say it when it was ping pong, right, Heather?
Right.
Server score first. And serving will be Jenny Mans.
Penn State leaving the middle of the court wide open. Mans with a great topspin.
Free ball here, chance for a point. Foster. No, Penn State has it. Bremner sets left. And putting it away is Christy Cochran.
How about Cochran has just been the go-to player. 7 kills and a hot second game.
Tell you what, she's hitting a lot of balls. And it's another game point for Stanford. Good pass by Foster. Back set. Here comes Keene, and Keene rockets it.
Well,
this Keene is versatile.
Yeah, Shade knows where the money is. When the pressure's on, she's gone to Keene on 3 of the game points.
10 kills for Jenny Keene. Now she'll serve. I still say if Florida can make it back to the Nikki Shade rotation where she serves, they have a chance to win this. Shade is 2 rotations away from that, so they'll have to withstand another game point. Zemaitis serving now. Game point number 5 as the Lions try to wrap it up. This could be it. Shade over the net, free ball. Bremner sets left. Schoenveld got it. And Penn State has won game 2. Florida played much better throughout that game, but still the same scenario as Penn State pulling away at the end of game 2. And the put away. Penn State leads it 2 games to none. More national semifinal number 1 after this.
Who loves
Penn Arena national semifinal number 1. Penn State winning the first 2 games by nearly identical scores and forging out a 4-1 lead here. I'd like to remind you to join ABC Sports on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern for the Wendy's 3-Tour Challenge. Tom Lehman, Fred Couples, Phil Mickelson for the PGA, Annika Sorenstam, Nancy Lopez, Kari Webb, and of course Jack Nicklaus, Johnny Miller, and Larry Nelson for the Senior PGA. That's on ABC. Well, let's give you the ABCs of this match. Penn State has just been playing a little more consistent volleyball, error-free volleyball, as Florida had 9 hitting errors in game 1 and lost it. Game 2, they made critical errors at the wrong times. And now here in game 3, bad news for Gator fans as Penn State's starting to block well.
The Gators really need to show some variety on offense, and I think at the middle attacks a little bit more involved. Nina Foster and Heather Wright putting up good numbers, but they haven't been able to swing at as many balls. Nikki Shade forced to go outside a little too often.
You know, maybe you can't see it on television, but this is a big, strong Penn State team. The most physical team, I think, from the East Coast, and maybe the East Coast has ever seen. When you look at Schoenfeld and Cochran, I mean, these women are buff and they're tall, strong power players. No wimps allowed on Penn State.
Well, and they started the season off with such a bang, beating Stanford twice. They're just playing with more confidence and more power than I think any other team in the semifinal or in the next match that we'll see between Stanford and Long Beach.
Lindsay Anderson puts the ball away. Of course, Stanford will say, hey, we were without Kerry Walsh, and our center was injured, so we didn't give it our best effort. Of course, Stanford is 100% now, and you're going to see them play up against Long Beach State in our other national semifinal. You can see that here on ESPN2. Nice shot by Nikki Shade. Florida not out of it yet. They're just behind by 1, 4-3. Shade with 3 kills.
And I think Mary Weiss had a lot to say in between games 2 and 3 about Nikki Shade taking control, really quarterbacking this team. She's been much more offensive in this 3rd game.
Clara Roach to serve. Roach has had 5 knee surgeries. I'm surprised she can even bend down to dig up a ball.
Yeah, Roach is 5'11", a great front row player, but she's torn both ACLs and had those 5 knee surgeries, so she is stuck in the back row.
How many knee surgeries have you had?
I have had 3, and I thought that was a lot. Boy, I feel like I've led a very happy life in comparison to Claire Roach.
You know, you look great, but you're a wreck, aren't you?
You know, my knees have never been better, but it's that weekend warrior thing kicking in.
Okay.
I'll have to give Claire Roach a few tips after this.
That's the voice of Heather Cox, the former Pacific Star. 1990 NCAA title championship against UCLA.
UCLA. You had to bring that up, didn't you, Chris?
I'll tell you what were you thinking when you went into the national semifinals that year as a player?
First of all, you're so excited. I had never been there, and so the energy and the adrenaline keeps you going and makes you play just your best volleyball. But then we got to the finals, and UCLA just had their way with us. Yeah. But certainly, even though it was a loss, was the highlight of my career, no doubt.
So Heather Cox can empathize with a lot of these women who are experiencing their first. A lot of experience out of here, but some of the women experiencing their first national semifinal.
Well, since day one of playing collegiate volleyball, even high school volleyball, the ultimate goal is to make it here.
Shade will set left. And Rodriguez, did that go over? Well, I don't think so, and it's going to be a point for Penn State. So Penn State now leading game 3, 5-3. And Christy Cochran will serve it. Cochran right down the middle. Shade will set left. Here comes Rodriguez. And Rodriguez that time, instead of trying to cut it so fine, she had Bremner on her, and she just teed off. No other way to describe it. Substitution coming back in is Heather Wright in the front line as Bonnie Bremner, number 3, calling the plays.
Look for Shade to go to right a little bit more. She's hitting .333, but only 5 kills.
And once again, a good tip shot by Terry Zemaitis. Much improved from last year. 12 kills, 4 blocks, 2 aces for the All-America.
You know, you just look into Terry Zemaitis' eyes, and you see the fire there. You see the intensity. She knows that this is it, her last try. And she is playing, sometimes that pressure gets to players, but she is playing great volleyball right now.
You saw Sandra Hebosis come in the back line for Florida, number 9. Pretty good play there. Bremner shoots long and scores. Bonnie Bremner, she knows what to do and when to do it. 6-3 now, Penn State, and Florida in deep trouble. Zemaitis continues to serve, and they're working short. Florida needs a kill. Free ball instead. Anderson sets left. Schoenfeld. Florida needs a put away right here. Off speed, no. Scoop left. Schoenfeld, yes!
The off-speed rally of the night.
Carrie Schoenfeld. Off speed, or I should say off balance. And another point, 7-3. Schoenfeld, 12 kills. She ties with Zemaitis for the team lead. Mans and Penn State working right now. 7-3, now make it 8-3.
The transition game for Penn State, flawless. Mary Weiss wants to put an end to it. The defense creating the offense right now for the Nittany Lions.
You can read lips. Side out run right now. 1 play, and Mary Wise is going to substitute. Nina Foster comes back in. Going out is Hebosis. So Foster, not much of a rest there.
Mary Weiss with 1 timeout remaining, uses the substitution instead, hoping that she'll need that timeout later on.
Florida down 8-3, and it could be 9-3 coming up. Cacciamani. No, Florida goes and gets it. Florida desperately needs a kill. Keene. Tip isn't working. Penn State all over it. Someone's got to bang away for the Gators. Someone got to take a swing here. Right side freshman, yes. Heather Wright. Blasting. Florida's getting too tentative. Too many tips. Those aren't going to go down in a big match when everybody's jacked up.
And all season long, Florida has been the team with the heavy arm, kill or error type of volleyball. Playing a little bit too conservative right now.
8-3. The 14th kill for Carrie Schoenfeld. Bonnie Bremner set to serve. 8-3 Penn State, game 3. Another tip. Cacciamani says she didn't touch it. And now it is 9-3.
Right now, Florida has to relish the role of the underdog. Play to win, not to lose. Right now, they're afraid to make the errors. They need to just go for it, Chris.
Geraldine Hattendorf comes in. 23 hitting errors for Florida as that ball banged off the block by Jenny Mans. Mans with 17 kills and a block. Florida rolling up their sleeves now, getting down to business. They have to stop Penn State here or they're going to be out of it. Blocked there. And it's Heather Wright. So Heather Wright playing relaxed and trying to inspire her teammates.
Yeah, she doesn't play like a freshman, had a lot of international experience, played on the 97 youth national team. 4 blocks now for the rookie.
9-4, Cacciamani hits it straight down. Lauren Cacciamani, the one-time gymnast. Wow, she must have grown quick. Can't see her on the balance beam a lot. 9-4. Penn State ahead. 3 ball. Anderson sets left. Here comes Cochran. She pounds it. Cochran again. She jams it. It's dug. Nice play by Shade. Little jousting going on. Bremner sets left. And it is roofed by Florida.
The Florida block has been very impressive this entire match. Heather Wright with great movement closes the seam next to man.
Heather Wright, a very promising freshman. As you see number 12, Claire Roach come in as Mary Wise trying to find the right combination to stimulate a rally. Cacciamani.
Wow, did you see how high Julie Bremner just tossed that ball up like a balloon, let Cacciamani's huge arm swing and reach get up to it. Watch how high this ball is. Cacciamani gets it at the very top, the apex of that set, right inside Foster.
Great balance. Anderson with 9, Cochran with 10, Schoenveld with 14. As Florida gets the side out, let's check the stats for Nina Foster, the senior. Foster with 10 kills and a couple of blocks.
Nina Foster, after finishing volleyball here at Florida, will go to the national team in January, train in Colorado Springs, give it a go.
Nice dig by Mann. Slap shot, yes. Is there a rally coming from Florida? They're down 2 games to none. Now they trail 9-5.
Well, they did it in game 1 by cutting down the errors and keeping the transition game alive.
Pretty good spinner there. Joust coming. No, into the middle. And the Penn State players collided. Cochran and Anderson banged into each other, and suddenly it's 9-6.
Zamitis right now asking her team to focus, putting her finger to her head, saying right now, think through this focus, quit making the easy errors.
Good sub by Russ Rose to slow it down. He takes out Miller and brings back Cacciamani for backline duty. She's a talented back row hitter, but they don't use her that much, at least so far. Set left, here comes Cochran inside. Christy Cochran. You know, we talked about the physicality of Cochran. I was told she only has 5% body fat.
I believe it. Great explosiveness into the air.
Yeah, she is lean and mean and hitting the cross court, sizzling some Florida pits at the moment. 9-6, and the ball is out. Florida thought it had a kill, but no, make it 10-6.
And that's that cutback that Nina Foster likes so much. Terry Zamitis got right on it, forcing Foster out of bounds. 25 hitting errors for Florida, and it's going to be a lift and another point. 11-6. Another sub coming back in for Florida. Rodriguez checks back in. Going out is Hattendorf. 11-6. Penn State now just 4 points away from advancing into the championship final. Anderson serving. Shade tries to jam. Cochran gets it up. Joust coming. Bremner. Tip, no. Anderson plays it over. Shade. Quick set. Foster, yes. Nina Foster. 11 kills, but she also has 7 errors, hitting 154. She's got to turn it on now. Serving is Keene. Good serve. Chasing is Bremner. And a free ball. Should get a point here. Shade. Got it. Handing it off to Foster. Nina Foster, if Florida's going to make a comeback, it's going to be behind number 23 Blue. She is the heart and soul and the power of this Florida program.
11-7 as Florida starts to creep in game 3. Here comes Zamitis, and they get it. No. Yeah, I've seen Zamitis hit a lot of balls on that slide, but most of them are across court. She's coming back hard.
And that's what Florida scouted. They want to take away that cross court, make Zamitis pound down the line.
Christy Cochran serving. Penn State up by 4. Left side. Long tip. Anderson handles it out of the back line. Cacciamani Dug up. Pretty nice play by Keene. Here comes Mans. At the net. Slap shot, Rodriguez. Whip it over to Schoenfeld. And she is rejected. Foster. The Gator. Taking a little fight out of that volleyball. Got it back. Saving a point.
And this is a very strong rotation. Once Foster moves to the backcourt to serve, she served 6 consecutive points in the key 4th game in the win over Wisconsin.
Freshman Heather Wright is back in the front line, number 13 in blue. And that ball is poked out of bounds. 11-8. Here come the Gators after being down 9-3 at one point. Hitting errors mounting for Penn State. They now have 20.
And credit the Florida block for that, forcing Penn State out of bounds.
Penn State sets left. And another, oh, they called that in, I guess. And Verna Klebnikin, I agree. I saw that out. It looked like it hit red. And it's going to be an overrule. The linesman, that's a tough call for the linesman, way down the line on that one. And it's going to be 11-9. Russ Rowe is going to check with Marty Procco and say, well, how come if the linesman calls it in, it's not in? What's the story? Timeout is called. We're coming back on the Deuce, and Florida, once again, is trying to make the comeback. Can they do it? Stay with us. Chris Marlowe and Heather Cox back at the women's semifinal. Number 1 Penn State winning the first 2 games, but hanging on here in game 3. Women's hoops coming to the Deuce. Tune in 12:30 a.m. Eastern on Saturday night. The championship game of the Northern Lights Invitational, live from warm and sunny Anchorage, Alaska. The defending national champion Tennessee will be there, undefeated Wisconsin in the field. That would be a great championship final. Well, right now, Penn State shaky. Florida coming on. Mans hits it out. Just when Florida starts to come back, they can't make that one play will get them over the hump.
It's those scoring opportunities, points in crunch time. 26 hitting errors for the Florida squad.
Penn State was up 9-3. It is now 11-9. Playing to 15 out of the back line. Here comes Keene, and Keene gets it. Wow, that was a big kill. You can't block on that, can you, Heather? You just give her a free one.
Exactly, and it's a nice run by Nikki Shade, bringing your outside hitters into the middle of the court. Get the positions out of the regular position so that you're less predictable.
The best rotation for Florida just went into the net. Check this reaction out on the serve. Yikes.
She knows how close they are. In every one of these games, they've had so many scoring opportunities to take the lead and take a game, and then they've made crucial errors.
That could have been a double not called. Mans pops it up. Shade back set. Oh, and I don't know if that was touched, but Zemaitis took a ball that was about 4 feet out of bounds. And Zemaitis, I saw a kid do that at UCLA Pepperdine, 1978. Dave Brown. You call that a brownie when you're out of bounds, taking a ball. And Zemaitis asking, I think it was Anderson, if she touched it. She said no. So we'll see if that's a big play at 11-9. So Zemaitis gets a brownie, an inadvertent brownie. And let's see how Florida plays it. No, a BB. Is that good? Wow, what a play. That one's going out of bounds.
A great hustle by Florida. Just a heartbreak that they couldn't keep the free ball in play. Watch the hustle as they cross the half-court mark. As long as she touches it before she crosses the plane of the net, that ball is legal.
11-9, Penn State in white. And that's going to be back row attacker. Not allowed to jump at the net when you're in the back line. And Florida takes timeout. If you just joined us, Penn State and Florida trying to reach the championship final. Penn State, the #1 seeded team in the tournament under Russ Rose, just 1 loss this year, 33 wins. Last year, Penn State almost made it here, 31-3. They lost to Nebraska in the regional final in Lincoln, and that was a sore spot for Russ Rose. He had talked about that match and how he thought he was cheated out of a regional final at Penn State.
Yeah, amazingly, with all the success that they've had, this was the first year that Penn State has actually hosted a regional, but that loss, that regional final loss to Nebraska, has been the sole inspiration for this entire squad all season long. It inspired them during the spring, the summer workouts, and fall camp. They lost in the 5th game, 20-18.
Our women's championship final, we're going to have it for you live. I'm told in its entirety. Will start Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific. One of these teams will be playing either Long Beach or Stanford, and there is Lori Barberich, the one-time great Penn State star, now the wife of Russ Rose. So she is Lori Rose now. And she is hoping that her hubby's team gets into the final. Still work to be done. As Wright hits that one out of bounds, and it is 13-9. So Penn State just 2 points away from getting into the championship final. And Florida has just killed itself with hitting errors all night long.
Substitution call.
27 hitting errors. Coming in is Sandra Hebosis. As Mary Wise wheeling and dealing, but down to her final 2 points. Serving is Carrie Schoenfeld. Going to be another. Oh, and Cochran hit point number 14 right out of bounds.
Wow,
remember
that's
that
just
play.
a gift horse in the mouth.
Shot goes wide.
Mary Weiss, no timeouts left. Russ Rose with 1.
And Nina Foster, number 23 in blue, back in the front line. Think about plays like that. Could that be a play that could haunt Penn State? Pretty good dig in the back by Rodriguez. Nobody to hit it. They'll shovel it over. 13-9. Penn State trying to terminate and save a point. Into the middle. Blocked. Foster was there.
Foster keeping her eye on the free ball play. Watch the X. Comes right in front, the deception behind, and they get a triple block up. No surprises there.
Set left. Christy Cochran dug up. Chance for Florida to get a point. Shade doing the limbo. And she was under. So Shade couldn't save it. 13-10. Blocks 13-6 Florida, but it hasn't mattered because the hitting errors have killed the Gators. Serving is Calna Miller now. 13-10 out of the back line. Rodriguez, yes. Ari Rodriguez, you have to like the way Florida is hanging in.
Well, Shade likes to run the back row attack as often as possible. It's both Keene and Rodriguez.
Mans with a spinner coming up. Pretty good pass. Looking for Zamaitis. No. Set Cochran. One on. Oh, what a dig by Rodriguez. Spread out over to Keene. And she is dug. Zamaitis long dink. Was there a touch? Florida touched the net. Ari Rodriguez's best dig ever. Fantastic.
Incredible athleticism. Watch Rodriguez scoop, give everything she has to keep that transition ball going.
That's a hard play for a woman, but impossible for a man. She got it up. 13-10 is our score. Cochran whacks it and through the block. It goes point Penn State.
Christy Cochran feeling it. 12 kills.
And here we go. Match point now for Penn State. Lindsay Anderson to serve. Nittany Lions trying to wrap it up. Zamaitis is there. They'll set right side. Anderson out of the back line. Ball pawed up there. Here comes Mans. And did that ball come over? No, they're still playing. Not sure if it did. Keene over the top. Good dig by Miller. Zamaitis slap shot. No. Florida needs a save here to keep it going, and they get it. As Foster puts it away. Nina Foster hanging in. Florida trying to hang in. Russ Rose, calm, collected. Florida down by 4, 14-10 here in game 3. Here comes Cochran off speed. Shade. Florida can't get a swing at it. Look for Zamaitis coming. Bremner got it. Bonnie Bremner with the right hand that time, Heather.
Bonnie Bremner, 7 kills. She has been part of an offense. 6 players have been involved in this offense the entire match.
Bremner with 7 kills. This is match point number 2 for Penn State. Trying to wrap it up, Cochran. Pretty good pass. Shade sets left. Rodriguez blasts down the line and gets it. Ari Rodriguez really humping now. She has 13 kills, but now Florida needs some quick points. Needed some aces, maybe a couple of blocks, a couple of shanks. They need some luck. 14 down, and they get an ace. Well, that's in the recipe.
Now, Florida's serving has been wonderful this entire match. They're serving errors and really going after it. Mary Wallace with a great serving strategy, making those calls.
Russ Rose will take his final timeout. And so will we. We are coming back to the Spokane Arena. Penn State trying to put away pesky Florida. Russ Rose, his team in charge after winning the first two. They've had 2 match points, and he just needs 1 more point to get into the championship final. Chris Marlowe, Heather Cox, we're down to the end of game 3 as Florida trying to hang on here, but they have not been able to crack Penn State. Penn State tipping. Florida has a chance here. Over the top. Great dig in the backcourt by Anderson. Set left, Schoenfeld. Dug up. Keene was there. Out of the back line, Mans. Shade scoops it up. Set left, here comes Rodriguez, and she jams it off the block, out of bounds. Point Florida.
Rodriguez has been so impressive. She is a senior, and both she and Foster are doing everything they can to take this match to a 4th game.
Substitution now. Lauren Cacciamani comes back in. Alma Miller goes out. Everybody out of timeouts, according to excellent stat man Michael Sondheimer. Schoenfeld off Shade, out of bounds. And Penn State will have another chance at match point number 3.
Penn State has just been so deep at every position.
Terry Zamitis serving it up. Florida will set left. Here comes Rodriguez. She's been hot. Shade pops it up. Right side, and nobody's there. Free ball, Penn State to go to the championship final. Cacciamani, oh, she whiffed it. Shade, she was a little nervous. Shade pops it over. Bremner, Cacciamani rips it, and it's out. It's out of bounds, and Florida is still going. Little tentativeness there for Russ Rose's squad.
Well, you have to remember, Lauren Cacciamani has never been in a match as important as this one.
A good pass there. Bremner will set left. Schoenfeld stumbled. Oh, and she rolls it down the line as Shade got stuck.
Gets the kill, side out Penn State.
17 kills for that woman. Carrie Schoenfeld, 4th match point for Penn State. In a good rotation with Bonnie Bremner serving. Pretty good pass. Shade sets left. Mans. Oh, what a dig. Zamitis had it up for the win. No, it didn't go over. 4 contacts, says first referee Werner Klebiken. And a worried Lori Rose.
There's Salima Davidson on the right of your monitor there. Former setter for Penn State, national team setter now. Hoping to be that 7th man for the Nittany Lions.
Serving is Rodriguez. Pretty good pass there. Bremner sends Cacciamani, and she is stuffed by freshman Heather Wright. 14-13 now. 6 blocks for that woman, Heather Wright. Now, Rodriguez will serve to tie it up. 14-13 and the put away. Carrie Schoenfeld. 14-13. Match point number 5. Penn State trying to put it away. Schoenfeld. The lollipop down the middle. Shade will set left. Here comes Keene, and she rockets. Remember the play at 13-9, or this match would be over. A pass over the net to Christy Cochran on the left. She had a plum. She couldn't squish it. She racked it out of bounds. That would have been the 14th point. The ensuing point would have been 15, and we would have been out of here. But a chance to tie right here. Florida's going to get a free ball to go to 14. Shade, back set. Mans. No, she hit it out. Oh, my.
And how ironic what has been plaguing them this entire match would cost them the chance to tie this up. Hitting errors have been a problem.
The 6th chance for Penn State. Mans dug up. Penn State will have a legitimate swing. Cochran for the win. No steam on it. Shade out of the back line. Rodriguez fires, and it's out. And Penn State will advance to the NCAA final. The Penn State Nittany Lions, they get a 3-game sweep over Mary Wise's Florida Gators, but it wasn't easy. It was tough, it was gritty, but the Nittany Lions are moving on. One more look at the final swing. Out of bounds, and the Lions advance. We'll come back. We'll wrap up national semifinal number 1 for you right after this. Three hard-fought games, eventually all won by Penn State, 15-11, 15-12, 15-13. Penn State moving on. The Nittany Lions will play the winner of Stanford and Long Beach State. And speaking of that match, you can see that titanic struggle tomorrow, 12:30 a.m. Eastern. Coming up next on The Deuce.